Well, hello everybody. The Gary Neville podcast is back, starring Gary Neville. It's a beautiful sunny evening at Old Trafford. Manchester United beaten, though, Gary, 1-0 by Arsenal. On a day, despite that scoreline, I presume you agree, not without its positives for United.
Yeah, I actually thought that they played well. I thought they were the better team in the game in terms of performance. But we know that performance sometimes, obviously, isn't enough. And that Arsenal have got real resilience and they can sort of hang in there and sort of grind out, 1-0 victories, and that was really good from Arsenal. But I just thought there were some positives. I thought Cunha and Mbeumo, I think probably Mbeumo more in the first half, Cunha more in the second half, but I think they showed that they can sort of handle sort of a big game at Old Trafford. They showed they've got the quality and the ability. I thought Cunha looks a really good player. We obviously know that from Wolves, but you can see it's interesting. I actually thought that when Mount was on the pitch, they actually looked a little bit better up front in terms of connecting it. Now, obviously, Seshko had to come on and he was only on for 20 minutes and to try and sort of get that goal. But I actually thought when Mount and particularly Cunha on that side of the pitch, they looked like they did combine well with each other. I actually thought United found it more difficult the more subs they made. But I thought there were some positives for United. Obviously, there's a long way to go. This is a tough start. Arsenal, potential champions this season. It's only going to be Arsenal, Liverpool or City. So we know that Arsenal are a tough team to beat, tough team to break down. The goalkeeper's very good. The back four outstanding. They had two full-backs that came on that would probably get in 99% of teams in this league. So yeah, I wasn't not too downhearted. It's the first game of the season. I thought the system worked better. I actually thought the back three did very well of Shaw, LIGT and Yoro. I thought that Manchester United defended really well. I actually thought Casemiro and Fernandes played well in midfield, and I thought that was going to be a difficult game for those two against Zubimendi, Rice and Ødegaard. I thought they could get outnumbered, but they didn't. Casemiro and Fernandes, I thought, held their own. So, I think United over the course of that match, in terms of the football that they played and their performance, were probably the better team. But we know, obviously, they've lost the game, and that's what matters.
And presumably, if Manchester United played well and lost, then there must be some good things to say about Arsenal too.
Yeah, I think that I said a couple of weeks ago, Arsenal have got to pretend that the very first game of this season is February, and that was a February-March type performance. Go away from home, win at Old Trafford 1-0. That's a big result. Now, it's happened very early in the season, but it'll give them real confidence. They'll travel back to London tonight and they'll feel, together. They didn't play well, Arsenal. I mean, their football, really, for the players that they have out on that pitch, in terms of Rice, Zubimendi, Ødegaard, Saka, Martinelli, GYÖKERES, they really did let themselves down at times, particularly, I think, on the counter-attack. They were really sloppy. Didn't really get their passing going. I thought they actually started the game quite jittery. I thought the two centre-backs who actually grew in the game and are outstanding, they're a brilliant pair, but I thought Saliba had one of the shakiest 10 minutes that I've seen from him in that first period of the game. So, yeah, I think for them to get a clean sheet here, to get a win at Old Trafford and not be at their best, which they were well off their best, and they'll certainly get better than that, I thought was a real plus. But just little things, that front three, very early on, Martinelli, Saka, GYÖKERES, they've got to be better than that. I thought United's front three of Mount, Cunha and Mbeumo, that's the first time they've played together in a Premier League game. I thought they were a lot better in terms of their combinations and play than Arsenal's front three. I thought United's front three were better. So that's something to work on. Obviously, it's very early. I thought GYÖKERES actually looked a handful. I thought he did some good things. I was actually surprised he came off. I thought Arsenal actually, they didn't change defensively when the substitutes were made, but they lost their attacking threat completely, I felt, when GYÖKERES went off. So, yeah, things to work on. But the big thing for Mikel Arteta, he's got a very resilient bunch. They're good at set pieces. They're a good defensive unit. They're just going to have to have a little bit more sparkle up front. But that's Old Trafford's a tough place to come. It's the first game of the season. So, yeah, well done to Arsenal. I think it's a big victory for